Hey guys, JJ back here. This time to give you my thoughts on the release of the bracket for March Madness, along with some tips and tricks to look for when filling one out or multiple of them out. I want to briefly mention the channel is off a nice little 3-game winning streak with Memphis covering, bringing the channel up to 19-7 against the spread. As I did mention in the previous video, I'm offering up a very fair package for the tournament to get all my bets, be about more or less 30 bets, not any less than 30 bets. But we'll most likely be closer to 35 total bets for the entire tournament. We'll include some NIT stuff in there as well. So, guys, March Madness is the biggest weekend of the year for sportsbook. It used to be the Super Bowl, but now it's more or less this opening weekend coming up. It's the biggest weekend for sportsbooks. They practically lick their chops every year around this time, and they never get left unfed. Now, this is especially true for, like I said, this first upcoming weekend with all the action in such a short period of time. From this Thursday all the way to late evening Sunday, you'll be able to bet 48 different NCAA games. If you include the 4 play-in games, starting Tuesday, this number will climb up to 52. You'll have 16 on Thursday, 16 on Friday, 8 on Saturday, 8 on Sunday. The buck doesn't stop there, though, if you're a sports bettor, because millions of people will be filling out brackets and, heading over to the water coolers while they're at work to discuss who they think is going to win it all, who's going to get to the Elite Eight, Final Four. Now, from a betting angle, I ask all of you that you be careful over this upcoming 4-day stretch. This is a dangerous type of year if you're a novice sports bettor. Even an experienced sports bettor could really get his balls chopped off, or her balls chopped off during a rough patch here, especially, it would be ill-timed, of course, but keep in mind, a lot of the lines that come out are not favorable. You try to find your own subjective holes in them, but don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. Stay within your means, and look, enjoy this because it's a very fun time of year. But don't lose your shirt. Okay. I want to start by mentioning, which is often the case, the seedings that were very questionable. I won't go into detail with all of them, but there are a few that really left me scratching my head. Iowa State. Ken Pom in Vegas's best Big 12 team happens to be a 6 seed, while Kansas grabs the 4 seed despite Iowa State mashing Kansas in the Big 12 tournament. Also, Kansas as a 4 seed gets to play their Sweet 16 matchup in Kansas City. I can't say I'm surprised, but Jesus, what a bad draw for North Carolina, who's the 1 seed in their region. Will have to play Kansas in the Sweet 16 in Kansas City if the chalk prevails to that point. Michigan State beats Michigan 3 times this year, including a comeback win in all 3, as well as winning the conference championship today against them. Not only do they get to be a lower seeded 2, Michigan State gets thrown into the Duke region. Simply stunning. What a world. I mean, Jesus, real shit draw for them. Oregon and Wisconsin have awfully tough spots as well. Oregon's arguably the hottest team coming into this tournament. They land a 12 seed, which is really head-scratching, considering how they mauled through the Pac-10 tourney, Pac-12 tourney, and not losing a game in nearly 3 weeks. By the way, the other 12 seeds are Liberty, Murray State, and New Mexico State. These are all mid-major programs. As for Wisconsin, there are various 6 seeds and even some 7 seeds that drew a better matchup than what they got here as a 5 seed, along with, of course, being the worst of the 5 seed matchups. Wisconsin really played well down the stretch, stumbled against Michigan State in their conference tournament. Ken Pom has this team ranked 12th overall if you happen to be a pure numbers junkie, and really get a tough draw here against Oregon, hot team. Now, I could go on for days with this about plenty of teams that got snubbed, but the biggest 3, in my opinion, that actually got snubbed that didn't even get in would be Texas, North Carolina State, and Clemson. These 3 should be in, and Arizona State, St. John's, and Temple should all be riding pine. But look, it's subjectivity is what gives these dog shit teams a chance to sneak in. And I mean, for one thing, people may forget Syracuse was one of the last 4 in last year. They had a play-in game against Arizona State, which they won, and then came in as a 11 seed and took down 6 seed TCU. And then took down 3 seed Michigan State before losing in a very good game against Duke in the Sweet 16. So look, I get it. Anything can happen. with any one of these teams, but it doesn't mean snubbing teams that do belong here is the right thing, especially a team like Clemson, which Clemson should really be in this. They've had a really good year. So very surprising to see them out. But regardless, anything can happen here. Big congrats to the teams that have made it at this point. Whoever didn't make it, just remove them from your head because there is no need to talk about them more and more or on because they are not going to be playing in this tournament. If you want to talk about them in regards to the NIT, how you're going to bet them, if you're going to pick the NIT, if you're in one of those kind of crazy bracket tournaments, whatever, fine. But other than that, pick teams that are actually focus on teams that are actually in the tournament, and don't allow those other teams back in your head. Now, here's some tips I want to go over for you guys for picking teams in the bracket. Number one, use Vegas to your advantage when picking these brackets. Always look for spots when higher seeded teams are favored versus lower seeded teams. Now, this is often common in 1 to 2 opening round games per year. This year, I actually don't see any. I think the only one was Florida opened as a quick favorite against Nevada, but that line quickly moved. This year, like I said, I don't see any off the bat, but this could certainly change. The obvious one that sticks out to me would be in a small line for 2 big seeded matchups would be the Oregon-Wisconsin matchup. Seeing Wisconsin as -1, but again, it's definitely justifiable because Oregon is arguably been the hottest team coming into this tournament. Not to put down to Wisconsin at all. It's more or less a lot of respect for Oregon, as they should have. But again, as you guys see throughout the week, money is going to move lines. Try to use it to your advantage. Try to realize, hey, look, a lot of the public truly believes this certain team should be favored, even though they didn't open as a favorite. So use that when you're picking your brackets, because realize that there's going to be a lot of maybe there's sharper minds, maybe it's just a lot of public money. Regardless, Vegas had a lot of money on one side versus the other. Or offshore had a lot of money on one side versus the other. Use it to your advantage when you're picking teams. You see any of those higher seeded teams favored against the lower seeded teams. Definitely, you want to think about getting them selected in your brackets. Again, there's no such thing as a sure thing, but use that to your advantage. Now, number 2, get ballsy. Okay, every year you hear the same people on media networks, who follow the sport all year long, college basketball. These people should understand the disparity that's built into the sport, that's built into the bracket itself, the variance of it, and the bracket in itself is where this variance gets exemplified. Yet every year there are these crazy upsets and everyone's left scratching their head. When you pick teams for your bracket, get creative. If you're not creative, hand the bracket to your spouse, your friend, your kids. Have them pick the teams for you because they'll have a better shot than you. Chalk does not win your bracket tournaments, okay? You need to be diverse. You need to be thinking outside the box. There is the occasional chalk team that wins the whole thing. This year that team would happen to be Duke, but it doesn't mean you can't get wild with your bracket. And especially if you're filling out multiple brackets, get creative. Pick a few 12s, pick a few 11s, whatever. Pick some 10s, pick a 15, whatever you want to do. Make sure 4 or 5 teams seated above 10 are in your Sweet 16. This shit happens every year. Okay, don't think that this year's going to be the time that stops. Be different. Be different. And I know some people might say, "Oh, well, that's so obvious." Why would you even say it? Because people year after year still, I look at people's brackets that they'll hand to me and say, "Hey, what do you think mine looks like?" And I'm like, "This thing, just a chalky bracket." I mean, Jesus, like anybody could have picked that. Anybody could have just taken the higher seeds and gone everywhere, with 1 or 2 upsets. The people that I see with the 4 number 1s in the Final Four, it's like, give me a break. I get it. It could happen, but it typically never does. Okay, so number 3, if you're an individual who enters every bracket tournament you can get your hands on, trust me, enter different brackets or a different bracket for each tournament you enter. March Madness is a humbling time of year for everyone. But do yourself a favor, hedge your brackets by picking different teams in the earlier rounds, different teams to get to the Elite 8, the Final Four, championship game, different team to win it all. Enter your favorite bracket in your highest money bracket tournament, the one that you would have entered in all of them. But be diverse. I mean, this goes back to point 2, being ballsy, but I mean, at the same time, hedge yourself. If you're one of those guys that loves to enter as many as you can get your hands on these tournaments, friend of a friend says, "Hey, I got this." Family member says, "Hey, I got this." Hey, you want to enter this, want to enter this. Next thing you know, you're in 15 tournaments. Enter different brackets. I understand it's more time consuming, but you want to win money, right? You don't want to be just handing your money away. Enter different brackets. Give yourself a much better chance of coming home with money. It'll also give you more to root for. I mean, don't be all in on one bracket anyway. I'm more or less a one bracket guy. That's because I'm more of a sports bettor, not so much a bracket person. To pick these, I would do fairly well if I was able to pick, if I had the time to put together a lot of brackets. But I just would rather not. I'd rather invest my money sports betting. But be different, and make sure your brackets are different in every tournament you're entering. Number 4, utilize KenPom.com to help you with the numbers aspect. I know I mentioned KenPom on here a lot. Data junkies do not do well in this tournament. This is not a tournament that's an analytical one. Things will happen in this tournament that just do not make sense. Swallow that pill. Realize that's going to be the case. If you're going to use numbers solely to predict this tournament, you're going to fail miserably. This doesn't mean you can't use numbers to guide you in the right direction. Just make sure you are using the site you're using is KenPom.com, which offers the best analytics for CBB in the industry. I am not an affiliate with KenPom. He does not pay me money to say anything. I use KenPom myself, and I advise you guys all to use it as well. Again, use it to help you. Do not use it to make your picks for you. But definitely check out the site, see all they have to offer. I truly believe you will enjoy it and find some useful tips from it. Now, number 5, understand that you will be wrong in picking this bracket. I see far too often people say this time of year, oh my God, I can't believe I was wrong with this team. I can't believe this team fucked up my bracket. I can't believe this team screwed me up here. I can't believe this happened. What an upset. I knew this team was so good. I don't know why. What happened? Wow, this team completely fell on their face here. Upsets are going to happen. Please realize that and understand the fact that this is humbling, and we get that. Everybody should understand that, even though I feel like people say they do, but they don't. There are various people who spend all year covering this sport, only to have their brackets completely blown up on Thursday night, the first night of the tournament. It's okay. This tournament is unpredictable. That's what makes it so much fun. On the other side of this, when you pick a few upsets, no need to gloat about it. No need to gloat about it. Very soon after, you find your foot will be right in your mouth. Enjoy the upsets that you pick right, but be humble about them. Realize that it's short-lived. It's short-lived success in the bracket. I want you all, and the big message here is I want you all to continue to make sure you're picking the right upsets, but don't go blowing all your friends about how you knew this team was going to do this, you knew this team was going to do that. Nobody knows anything about the specifics of this tournament. If they did, they wouldn't have to work a full-time job. They'd be sitting in the Bahamas having women serve them pina coladas. So there's no one's doing that, and no one's getting rich off this tournament. Don't make yourself sound like a douchebag. Be humble through the wins that you get. And realize, swallow the pill that you will be quite upset with a bunch of your losses, but just realize that it's all supposed to be fun, and don't make it be any less than that. Now, number 6, use your gut feelings more than numbers. And I know, being a numbers guy myself, I give you guys a lot of numbers. You're probably thinking, why would you say use your gut? Doesn't even make sense. But if there was ever a time to trust your gut, now would be that time. Again, for picking winners of these games, throw numbers out of the window. Don't get me wrong, from a betting perspective, utilize numbers as much as you can, because at the end of the day, it is still a numbers game. But if you're picking winners for this bracket and you want to be, diverse, and you want to have a chance to really win your tournaments, your bracket tournaments, pick a 2 to upset a 15. Pick 3 12s to upset 3 5s. Pick all 4 7 seeds to lose against all 4 10 seeds. Grab all those 10 seeds. Use your gut. If you have a gut feeling on a team, you've been watching them all year, maybe a mid-major, you really think they're gonna run the table. I know Yale's been quite popular. You really think that they have the sauce, that secret recipe to get to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, the Final Four. Who is that team going to be this year? Make sure you have one of those teams in your brackets, at least a few of them. I mean, that at a minimum, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So use your gut. Use your gut, your instincts. If there was ever time to do it, it would be in these bracket challenges. So do yourself a favor and make sure you're doing that. Now, number 7, and this is most certainly last but not least, enjoy the tournament. Okay, I know another one that might seem so obvious. What I mean is, don't put yourself into any situations that have the potential to make you not enjoy this tournament. Maybe, come through the next 3 or 4 days, you invest a ton of money in a ton of brackets, and now you have to win one of them. Just to get some of your losses back. Maybe you bet too much money on one game and now you won't sleep right for a few nights. Look, go out with some friends, family, enjoy the games, maybe host a party, maybe go to a friend's house, bring some friends and family over. It's a great time of year to see friends and family that you haven't seen in a while. A lot of people love watching these tournaments, even if not sports fans. More or less, enjoy yourself during the tournament. Avoid situations that will hinder that. Spend some time with friends and family. This is a good time to catch up with some quality time with them. While you're watching the games, it'll make you enjoy them more. I always preach this message. It's family and friends. You can't put a price on. So make sure you're involving them as well in your thoughts for this tournament. Now, so that wraps up this video. I can put together a video of the one bracket I will fill out this year. If any of you will find it helpful. I only do one bracket a year, and I typically enter that in 1 to 2 high-stakes contests. I am not a guy that has the time to fill out 10 or 100 brackets, but I certainly understand and see why many do enjoy it. It's definitely a lot of fun. I myself just don't have the time for it. Now, with that said, if you guys will find it helpful, I give you a bracket video where I break down, what my one bracket's going to look like. I will do a screen share while I have my bracket up and show you the team that I'm picking, the team I'm going to have that wins it all, and teams that I have getting in the Final Four. So just shoot a comment below. Hey, look, thanks for the video. Really interested in that video on if you could put together a video on the bracket. So I could definitely do that for you if you guys want it. Now, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do. We've been giving you a lot of good picks against the spread. 19-7. Also have the picks package for March Madness. You will get your money back in full if I'm not up a unit. So definitely it's practically free money. So regardless, want to really thank you guys for staying so loyal and watching all the videos and subscribing. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And any thoughts you have on the tournament, any thoughts you have on the initial openings of it, maybe some opening lines, whatever, feel free to drop a comment below. Be happy to help, happy to assist. Love when you guys comment on the videos and like them. So want to thank you guys for watching. I'm probably going to have a video on MLB spring training for tomorrow. I want to get this channel beginning to go in that direction. I'm a big MLB guy. I know my dad's a big MLB guy. He's the best handicapper for baseball I know. In this industry, you ask almost anyone, they will tell you that. So again, want to get this channel moving in that direction. So I will have a MLB spring training free pick for you for tomorrow. So definitely check that out as well. Okay, thanks again, guys. See you soon.